Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you like my top favorite books. In this video, it probably looks different. I switched up my lighting. I got brighter lights like right in front of me. Okay, I just stared right into them and now I'm like blind. And I changed like the white balance setting on my camera so that the whole area doesn't look quite so yellow. And I think there's a better picture too. So I'm going to try this lighting and for a while and see how I like it. Most of these are book series. There's only 2 of them out of the whole stack that are like just single books, but the rest of them are series. I want to just kind of go through them and show them to you and show you the cover and tell you a little bit about each book and why I really like it. So I really hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to save my favorite one for last. Most of these are young adult books. A couple of them are more junior, like reading level, but like I read them a few years ago and they're still like in my favorite books. So I'll show you those first. And these are the few that are more in the middle school reading level, but they're still really good books. So the first one is this book, Swindle. It's by Gordon Korman. And there are around 8 books, I think, in the series now, around 8 or 9, I think. And they're about a group of kids, middle schoolers, that are friends from school. And the first book, they find a really rare baseball card that's worth a lot of money. And then it sort of gets, like, stolen from them. And so they have to get it back. It's a really good book. It's not too long of a book. And all the books in this series are around the same length. There's around 300 pages in each book. The Swindle books take place in the modern times when they were written. The first book was written around 2008. The next book is also by Gordon Korman. He's one of my favorite authors. And this one is called On the Run. This is actually the second book in the series. I don't have the first one right now. It's at my library. But it's also kind of a middle school grade reading level. But it's about these 2 kids. They're a brother and a sister. And their parents were put in jail for selling government information and stuff. The kids were put in like a correctional facility for teenagers, and they escape and then they travel across the country and try to prove that their parents were innocent and that they were framed. There are 6 books in this series. They're pretty short each though. You could read it pretty quick. There are only 100 and something pages in this book, and the rest of the books are around the same length. And the On the Run series take place in the modern time when they were written. They were written in around 2005. The next book series, which is one of my favorites, is this one. It's Redwall. These are written by Brian Jacques, and I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. There are a ton of books in this series, and they're all very long. Or like not very, very long, but there are a few hundred pages. This one is well over 300 pages. This is the first book in the series in the order of what they were written in. But if you're reading them, if you're going to want to read them in the order of how they actually happen in the land that's like inside the books, then there's like a whole list of them on Wikipedia, which is what I went by, and I read them in the order of how they actually happened and not in the order of how they were written. There's a bunch of books in this series. I'm not sure exactly how many. I'll put the number on the screen, like right here. Put it right here, sitting on top of the book. The first book was written in 86, and they take place like in medieval times, and they're about animals, like mice and rats and squirrels, and they talk like people, and they wear like people clothes. Like there's a picture. They take place more in medieval times, so there's like sword fighting, and this is a really fun book. These books are more of a higher reading grade. They in my library, they're in like the adult section, and they do have a lot of violence in these. A lot of animals get killed and stuff, and it sometimes explains like details how they get killed and stuff, but just so you know. Okay, and then this is another of my favorite books, which I'm sure pretty much everybody has heard of this book. This is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And it's in the young adult section, and about these 2 teenagers that are cancer patients, and they fall in love, and then they travel to, they take a vacation to another country, and they like find an author that was the girl's Hazel. They go to find Hazel's favorite author in Denmark or something. Amsterdam. I guess they go to Amsterdam to look up Hazel's favorite author and ask him about like the ending of one of his books or something. It's also made into a movie, and I've only seen a few minutes of the movie, but I really do like the book. Okay, this next book that I like, this is one of the 2 books, The Fault in Our Stars, and this next book is both of the books that aren't in a series. They're just a standalone book. This one is The Martian. The Martian takes place in sometime in the future, a few years in the future, like when they start sending astronauts onto Mars and stuff, and that's what it's about. An astronaut gets stranded onto Mars, and I don't know exactly how many years in the future, but it's a few. It takes place like in the 2030 something. His astronaut Mark Watney, he gets stranded on Mars and has to just figure out how to survive on Mars for like, I don't know, is he on Mars for like 3 years or something? He has to figure out how to survive and stuff. This book is almost 400 pages long. It has basically no violence, but it does have a lot of cursing in it. So my last two favorite books I saved for last. This next one is Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. I think there are 12 or 13 books in the series. They're set in medieval era, so there's like castles and knights and stuff. And they're about, in the kingdom there are a group of people called rangers, and they like wear like cloaks and stuff, and they like hide and they spy on stuff like for the king. They protect the kingdom. And and they like will take an apprentice when they need one and train him to be a ranger. And this is about the apprentice. His name is Will. And this book is over 200 pages long. The other books in the series are, I think most of them are longer than the first book. The Ranger's Apprentice books are in the young adult section. There's a little bit of violence in them, but it's not too bad. It's my favorite actual book series. So now this last book that I'm showing you, this is my favorite book, probably my favorite book ever. First one of the trilogy, and this is my favorite trilogy ever. This might even be my favorite, like as a whole. These are like my favorite books ever. I don't know, I've read them like 3 times already, the entire trilogy, because I love them. And this is the False Prince trilogy by... It's about this kid who was an orphan. I think these take place in the medieval era also. And it's about this kid who's an orphan. His name is Sage. And I think he's like 13 or 14 in an orphanage, and then he gets bought from the orphanage and by this guy named Connor, this like nobleman. Connor takes like Sage and 3 other boys from a few other orphanages, tries to teach them how to like be a prince and stuff, and to try to get them to impersonate the actual prince who's dead, so that they can save the land from war, because it's like gonna go to war. And this isn't a spoiler, that they said it's like right on the front cover, so it's not a spoiler. There's 3 books in the series. I think the last book is my favorite one out of the trilogy though. 3 books are The False Prince, The Runaway King, and The Shadow Throne. And this book, this first one, is almost 400 pages long. The other books are around the same. And this is my favorite trilogy, and probably like my favorite book ever. And so those are all my current favorite books as of March of 2017. And as I'll probably get some more favorite ones. I might even do an updated favorite book video in a year or so. Completely random, but the lipstick that I'm wearing in this video is one from Tarte. It's the Drench Lip Splash lipstick in the shade Living, and this is just like a mini version of it. Got it in a set of 3 Tarte products. There was like a lipstick, a blush, and a mascara. I actually don't think they sell this lipstick separate, like, and I've looked on all the colors like more than once, and I can't find Living in there. And the mascara that I'm wearing is this new one from Wet n Wild. This is the Lash Renegade mascara. This stuff is amazing. It's like $5. And I have 2 other mascaras from Wet n Wild. I have the one in the pink bottle, the pink tube. I think it's called Max Volume Plus or something. And it's okay. It's not as great as this one. This one is way better. I also have their 3-step fiber mascara, so that one's also amazing. But this one I think I might even like better than that one. It's got this really cool bottle tube which I really like. The wand is like a straight wand, and it has like a ball tip kind of thing on the end where you can like turn it and get onto like the end of your lashes. Zoom in so you can see it. This is what it looks like. I think it looks really, really nice, and it's so black, and it was like $5. So I'll see you next time. Bye. I say so many ums. It's about